Hello, it's time for another Let's Make It, and we're going to talk about some of the rainbow Arduino woes. I got them now too. And the project from last week that I didn't get to do, I'm going to do this week with an LED light strip. All that and more coming up next. Hello and welcome to Let's Make It. This is episode 44 and it's recorded on, let's see, this is November 18th, 2013. And as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, this is November, no shave November. So you see, this is 2 weeks or a little more than 2 weeks of a growth. So it's hardly anything grows from my face. I'm counting the days down, so I got a total of 12 days until I can shave it off because I do not like it. It feels weird, and I poke it, and it looks bad, and I see it in the corner of my face. It's just one of those things where I just don't like it. So you hear in the background there, you hear Bob. Say hi, Bob.
Hello.
How are you doing, Bob?
Well, I'm not participating in No Shave November.
You're not participating in that?
No, I grew a beard one time. No, it's not coming.
I don't normally participate in it either. It just happened to be that I had some friends that were kind of trying to get me to do it. So I said I would do it, and I said that you'll be surprised at how bad it really is. So I really can't grow facial hair, and I'm not complaining about that because, you know, I know people that got to shave sometimes almost looks like they got to shave twice a day, and I'm not complaining that I don't having to shave, but
yeah, I don't have that problem either, so that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, no complaints about not having to do it normally, but it's an interesting experiment. Once a year, maybe I'll do it. You know, and I know it's for breast cancer awareness and everything, but it just still feels weird. Feels weird on the face. Okay, so this week I have the project I was going to do last week with the color LEDs and everything. I'm actually going to do this week because I didn't have the transistors I needed last week. I do have them now, and I'm going to show you that project. That's really all we have today. But before I go too far in, I want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, let me hop over here to the computer. I want to talk about something that's on our website. And Christmas time's coming up, and people are getting ready to buy gifts, and a lot of people buy them from Amazon, and the way you can help us out with that is you see a banner now on our page. It says Amazon.com, and anything you buy through there, we get a little percentage, 3 or 4%, something like that. And if anything you buy on our site that links to Amazon, like all these recommendations we have down here and the products that we talk about, that's also another 3 to 4% for us. And it's not a lot. You don't see any difference. It doesn't cost you anything. But here's a way you can help us out. Click on the Amazon link. And when you get to Amazon, you can just drag out of your address bar down into your favorites bar, that Amazon link. And anytime you want to buy anything on Amazon, use that link. And that just helps us out. That's a little bit of money that comes in to help support us. This show is recorded live every Monday night at 9 p.m. and it's 9 p.m. Eastern time. And you can go to tech-zen.tv/live and you can join the chat room. And you can also watch live, couple different CDN streams. If you're not available at 9 p.m. on Monday night, that's okay. You can always get our stuff downloaded. You can go to iTunes or any of the other Dogcatcher or any of the other podcasting apps, and you can download our shows there. And if you find somewhere we're not, please let us know, and we'll make sure that we get there. We also have a Roku app. You want to watch us on Roku, you can go and watch us on the big screen. Put it on the TV and watch it on the big screen. So I have something else I want to talk about, and this is something to talk with you, Bob. I have another show coming online that actually has a call-in line. So we now have the ability to take phone calls. And
sweet.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it wouldn't be something we could do for this show. That wasn't designed for the show, but I don't mind using it for all of our shows. So kind of get your opinion on that. If you, instead of going into the chat room, if you actually want to call and talk to us, it may be an option. I don't know what, I know in California it's like 6 p.m. when we start, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. And I know overseas it's all whatever time zone you're in, you can figure that out. I don't know. I'm not good at figuring out the time zones, but that's an option that we have. Is people interested in on that? I don't mind activating it. It's always on. I just don't watch it when I'm in this show. The other shows, and I also have 800 number coming up. It's the 800 number. I have the number, but it keeps going to somebody else's cell phone. So we'll have an 800 number you can call into, and it won't cost you anything to call in either if you don't have the ability to call on the long distance. So kind of give us your opinions on that. Also, got a couple emails. What did we get this week? Do you remember what we got this week?
Well, we got the one about the Rainbow Arduino,
right? Which is the one I replied back. So we're going to talk about the Rainbow Arduino here in a second too, because I'm experiencing the same pain that Bob felt, and apparently other people will have as well. Although Bob gave me a piece of information that I didn't register with earlier when we talked before, is he couldn't get to work on his Mac either, and I've spent I don't know how many hours trying to figure out how to program this thing on the Mac. It could never program. So
yeah, unfortunately, I never got it to work.
Yes, I'm going to go use my Linux box or something.
Yeah, Linux is my Fedora 19 was what I ended up using to do all the programming that was on the show a couple weeks ago.
Okay, well, that's good to know. That means I'm not going crazy. Well, maybe not crazy I thought I was going, at least.
I did get it to work on Windows 8, but it took a little while to get the drivers right. But once I got the drivers right...
Yeah, I'm wondering if it isn't a driver issue with the Mac, too. Because the Mac does have drivers. Maybe the chip they're using, I don't have the driver installed. So I was going to go look at that as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I have trouble on my Mac with the Arduino IDE occasionally, but that's actually a problem that's known on the Arduino forums. You know, there's a small subset of people who their Mac, it crashes randomly when you're trying to upload a sketch.
Oh, I never had that problem, so
yeah, and I haven't figured out why, and it's doing it on multiple.
It may just be the brand of the chip, the driver chips they're using as well in the Arduino software.
I don't know, but so for a lot of the development that we do, I end up doing the development on Linux and then bringing it over to the Mac and showing it on the show.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, the other question I had for you, did you ever flash the I2C code to it?
Yes, I did, and I never could
get it to work,
and it never communicated.
Yeah, I couldn't flash anything to it. So I mean, I couldn't really talk to it at all on Mac. I tried flashing the code to it, you know, because it replaces the Arduino code.
Right.
And
I could get it to, or at least it acted like it uploaded, and once I got it there, it wouldn't work, and then I had to flash the Arduino back on. Yeah,
so I got two of them. I was going to try to get them to work together and just play with them a little bit. And the frustration trying to get them to work so far has been pretty great, actually. So yeah. I'll go look at that a little later on this week. I took a break from it just because I was getting tired of messing with it.
Yeah, it does get frustrating after a while.
So, Bob, have you ever heard of the BeagleBone board?
Yes.
Have you ever played with one?
Only secondhand.
Okay, because I haven't played with one. In fact, I've never even seen one. I looked up what it was. I'd kind of heard of one, but I didn't ever research it. But we did have a question this week. I think it came to me directly about doing stuff with BeagleBone. So I'm going to look into that. I'm not saying we're going to yet, but I want to look into, a little bit more about what it is. Because
it's a nice platform. It's for the things that I've been working on over the last year and a half. That it's way more horsepower than what I need. So something like an Arduino is, for most of the projects I've had, has been perfect.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I didn't notice the specs, how powerful it was. It can remind me a lot of an Arduino from what I could see, just a little different development platform. So I'm going to pick one up and play with it a little bit, and we'll see if we want to do something with that on the show or not as another option. The other thing is the Udo. I've been playing with the Udo, and I got it booted up now. I've installed. I have two different memory cards for it. One of them has Linux on it, and the other one has Android on it. So I've been playing with that. The touchscreen interface I showed you last week, I got that hooked up to it, but it's not working right. I'm trying to figure that out now and trying to figure out what's going on with that. So I'm playing with that a little bit.
The BeagleBone, I just looked it up real quick, and it's a 700 megahertz ARM processor, with 256 mega RAM. So for the projects I've had, that is way more than what I need.
Yeah. If you need something with a lot of speed or something like that, that'd be okay.
That's not. So yeah, but of course that setup is $90. So
Right.
and that's the retail price.
Yeah, and like I just picked up 5 more Unos today for like $12 a piece. Big difference in price.
There you go.
So yeah, that is a big difference in price. Like I said, I haven't gone out and bought it yet. I just started looking at it yesterday or the day before. I got an email over the weekend. I was looking at it and haven't purchased anything yet for it. But that's another option we may think about in the future. We haven't done a lot with the Raspberry Pi, and that was kind of something I wanted to do as well. We just haven't gotten around to it. And I have a couple of those floating around. I've done some little things with it, but it's a lot more work with it than it is with the Arduino.
Yeah, it is. Although just for fun, I actually got it to run the Arduino IDE. I ran it off of a Pi.
Right. Yeah, and I've done that too.
That was kind of course, that was really more of a geek playing. So
right, exactly.
It really wasn't functional.
Well, it's kind of what the Udo. The Udo has a 4-core processor that's the same. It's very similar to a Raspberry Pi, and then it has the same chips that's in the Arduino Do. So you can program one from the other. So you program the Arduino from the quad-core machine. You don't have to do it that way, but you can do it that way, which is kind of how I've been playing with it. So I did the same thing there, where I plugged into a HDMI and a wireless dongle for a mouse and keyboard and installed the IDE on it. It works like a little computer. I mean, it's very similar in the Raspberry Pi from that point of view.
Right.
But I'd like to do more stuff with the Pi. The issue with the Pi, and I didn't realize this the first time I was messing with it, I'm glad I didn't ruin anything, is it's only a 3.3 volts versus the 5 volts that are on the pins on the Arduino.
Yes.
So you have to adjust for all of that. That's why I couldn't figure out why my LEDs were so dim, and because I was putting too much resistance in for the 3 volts. So, and I tried switching a 5-volt relay. Nothing happened, and I thought the relay was bad. But then I figured out later on it wasn't the problem. I was reading the specs, and like, oh, everything's 3.3 volts. That's not good. I could ruin something real easy with this. So. But the Arduino Do is the same way. It's 3.3 volts. I did not know that either until I got one.
I don't have one, so I haven't discovered that little tidbit.
Yeah, 3.3 volts. It's the same thing. It's on the Arduino. On the Udo, and that's when I got the Do to test my stuff out with it. After I realized it was 3.3 volts, because it said it was 3.3 volts in the Udo, and I looked up the Do, and it's 3.3 volts. I'm like, well, I need to check my stuff out with it. So yeah, I've gone through now and played with a lot with 3.3 volts. So I always assumed everything was 5 volts, but that was definitely a wrong assumption.
Well, have you? I haven't looked. Other than the headline, I haven't looked at it yet. But did you notice that Arduino is coming out with a Intel-based?
I heard about that. And actually, I think I got an email about it from somewhere.
Yeah, I saw a note about it last week, and I did not see a announcement about when it's going to be available, but
sometime in 2014.
32-bit Intel processor on it. So it sounded, at least the highlights sounded like it was going to be quick enough and powerful enough to challenge, the Pi.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting when I heard about that. And it's actually from them too. It's not a third party that took the Arduino stuff and redid their own stuff. It's actually from Arduino.
Yeah, it's from Arduino.
Yeah, well, I forget what it was called.
Galileo.
Yeah. See if I can find it here real quick.
Yeah, I think in one place it's called Galileo, and another it's called Intel Galileo.
Yeah, actually I have it here. Let me go over. Yeah, this is the website. So it is Intel Galileo. Looks a little different. Definitely different layout from what you're used to. It looks like the pins are a little smaller, different layout of the pins. I'll have to look at that and see if we can figure out a little more about it. Let's see. As we scroll down through here, it's interesting that looks like they got Ethernet port on it. So and they got two micro USBs. So to figure out what that is too. Let's see, as we scroll down through here, it's Intel. Yeah, a little bit of the overview. It's a 3.3 volt. Well, it does both 3.3 volt and 5 volt. It's interesting. You know, because some of the other Arduino stuff is 3.3 volt. And here we look at the different layout. There's definitely a different structure. There's a host USB there, and there is a client USB as well. That's interesting because and it looks like you can program the USB. And there's 2 UARTs, so you still have the old style UART plus an additional UART, which appears to be on a 3.5 millimeter plug, which could be confusing. It says not audio, so it definitely stands out. And looking at it, it's definitely a bigger board. Now that I look at it, all the pins are there. Look how much bigger the board is compared to a normal Arduino. That's very interesting. I first looked at it, I thought some of the pins weren't there, like it didn't have as many I/O or GPIO pins, but they're all there. Just the board's bigger. It's just definitely looks a little different. It's very interesting though. So I look forward to getting this. I don't know when it comes out. I thought I heard beginning of next year, but I think you said, Bob, that it was this year sometime. So I have to keep an eye out for it.
They've got a delivery date of December 16.
Oh, wow.
So, and they're showing it at $69.
Wow.
They have 10,000 on order.
I'm going to have to go put my order in so I get one when it comes in. All right. Well,
I think I'll have to put an order.
Yeah, I'll probably do that tomorrow. I haven't been ordering as much from them. I got a lot of parts in stock here now. I can pretty much make just about anything, but occasionally I test new stuff out. I'm actually I'm trying to expand the I2C stuff I'm doing, and I needed to go to multiple buses. So I sent an email to John asking questions, and he made a suggestion as to which chip I needed for a switch. It's like a switch or a mux or whatever, and I got a couple of those in. I guess I just got them today finally. It took a while to get them, and start playing with that a little bit because I need more than the boards I've been using will address up to 8 boards because the one chip only has 3 pins that are active on it for addressing, and I need to expand that. And I don't, if I need to change the chip, or I can go to the mux method to do it. So I'm looking at going to the mux method to do it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be playing with that some. Speaking of that, I got a bunch of stuff that's gonna be mailed to you tomorrow. You got a little care package coming to you.
Oh, okay. Some
boards and stuff in there.
Sweet. All
right. Well, let's take a quick break, and when I come back, this room is gonna be a little darker because I need to turn off one of my lights so that you can see what we're going to work on. And after that, so I'll do that during the break here. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
You work hard for your business. Your website should too. No matter what industry you're in, select your customizable high-quality design with professionally written content and graphic elements created for your business. Make changes online whenever you like. Switch your background color, page layout, and text anytime. Add your pictures and logo. Upgrade your website with useful one-in-one web apps. And integrate social media. Upload your photo albums and embed videos. With one click, optimize your website for viewing on mobile devices. Choose your free domain, or you can easily transfer an existing one. Thanks to One-in-One's SEO tools, customers can find you everywhere. One-in-One My Website, a professional website created by you.
When you open up an Audible audiobook, it opens up your imagination. Enjoy a steamy romance while ironing the sheets. Discover an historic battle while battling the bulge at the gym. Visit audible.com/freebooks now to try 2 books absolutely free. Get caught up in a whodunit during a do-it-yourself project. Listen anytime, anywhere with the Audible mobile app. When you're out for a walk, learn how to climb the corporate ladder. Or bring a little magic to your minivan with a fantasy novel. With over 100,000 titles, Audible is an amazing experience that you can now try absolutely free. And just like our books, there's no binding. Our Great Listen Guarantee lets you exchange a title you don't like for another. No questions asked. Visit audible.com/freebooks to download 2 books of your choice right now.
Okay, we're back, and what we're going to do is we are going to look at the project for this week. And last week I was going to do this project, but I didn't have the transistors I needed to do this. So, and you'll notice it's a little dark in here because I need to turn the light off so you can see this a little better. And basically what I have here, let me go over and we're going to look at this real quick. So what I have here is an Arduino Mega right here, and 3 transistors, just NPNs. They're right here. And then there's this spool that I showed you last week of LEDs, and I have like 5 or 6 of these spools now. And on that, there's LEDs that do 3 colors, and you see the green because it stands out. It's still a little hard to see, but it is red, green, and blue on it. And you see it's right now it's cycling between red, green, and blue. And the project is actually very, very simple. And I just want to walk through the project because really all it is 3 pins going to these 3 pins that are going over here to transistors, and then we're just turning them off and on in order. Now, one of the things Bob and I were talking about during the break is you see when I let go of it, see how much brighter the green gets. Every time that green comes on like that, I actually hear a pop in my headset. So it's something on the breadboard, I think, that's doing this because I can't quite figure out what it is. That's why you see me touching things, trying to figure out what wire I'm touching that's doing it. I think it's that one right there, which is basically just going to ground. So I'm gonna take it out and put it back in. Didn't help any. So let me move it. Now I moved it to make a difference. So I don't know exactly what the problem is. But let's look at the sketch real quick, because this is actually really quick. You see it's just going through different colors. So let's go over here and look at that real quick. Okay, so we're going to scroll down here, and you're going to see it's very basic. You see I defined the red pin, the green pin, and the blue pin as 2, 3, and 4. I set them up as output, and then in the loop, all I do right here is I do red pin, turn the red LED on, delay 250 milliseconds, turn it off, turn the green pin on, delay 250 milliseconds, and then do the same thing with the blue pin. Those three colors, and you can see it's changing red, green, and blue. So this strip actually has 4 pins. It has a common 5-volt pin, and then it has a wire for each color, red, green, and blue, and they're you can kind of see right here red, green, and blue, and all the transistor is doing is taking it to ground. So Bob was saying I probably have a floating ground. That's kind of what it looks like. It's kind of bizarre. I can't quite figure out what's going on with it, but that's what that is. So what I've also done is I've created another sketch, and let's hop over here, and we're going to go back over to the other one. There are a few differences in the other one. We use a digital write in the first one, and we use an analog write in the second one. But you see at the very top, it's very similar. The red, green, blue, exactly the same as the other one. And there you see the analog write that I mentioned. This allows us just to do variable brightness instead of doing the total digital write, which is all on or all off. And here you see the first loop, and I'm going to go through the green pin from 0 to 255. And that'll turn from off to full brightness. And then you see inside of there other loops. And this is the red pin, again, 0 to 255. So it's going, and then 0 to 255 for the blue pin. I'm going to do each individually, and then I'm going to back them down. So you see I back the red one down, and then I back the blue one down, which gives you a lot of the different variations. But then you see I do the blue and the red pin together of a full brightness and back down again, which is how I'm covering all the different things. So let's go push this up there to make sure I think everything right. Serial port. All right, so I'm going to push this. And then we're going to, all right, there it is, done uploading. We're going to hop back over and see what it's doing. This, so you can see what's doing. And it starts out very slow. So you see red and green coming up, and you see, you see red and blue going up and down, and green slowly getting brighter. So it's going to eventually cycle through all the possible color combinations. And I have 10 milliseconds between each one, so it takes a little while to go through it all. But within like 5 minutes, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but you're going to see generally the concept. They're all changing colors, and you can go through the whole color spectrum using red, green, and blue. So this is, I think we did something before with an RGB LED. And this is exactly the same, except what we have to do now is, because of the power draw for these LEDs, we have these transistors. So rather than going to an LED, we go to the base of a transistor that turns the drain on for each of the colors. And it's pulse width modulation, so the brightness comes by how long it stays on. Now, it's still, you still can't see it real good. You can see the color changing a little bit. It's still a tad bit too bright.
And I'm guessing you're using NPNs here, correct?
NPNs, right. So let me do this. I'm going to go turn the other light off, because that may be the other one that's causing the problem. Hang on. And you can see the green still flickering. And you can see the pulse, the PWM, as the color changes. Certain colors, certain brightnesses are more obvious than other ones, it seems like.
But that's kind of the nature of PWM.
Right, exactly.
Especially when you're changing colors like this.
Right. Now there is, I'm going to show, when we're done here, I'm going to show another box that this was the inspiration behind this, because I have a box here that's DMX controllable. And it does the same thing, but it doesn't have the flicker to it that this thing does. I don't know how they're doing it exactly. I haven't torn it apart yet to figure it out. But you can see it's going through all different colors. And green is the master color, so it should be a lot slower than the red or the blue. And it'll keep going through all these different colors.
Well, one of the quirks about the way the Arduino does its PWM is when you change the PWM value, it stops and then restarts the PWM at whatever the new value is. So when you're changing real quickly between different values, you're getting this constant reset that if you were leaving the PWM value consistent, you wouldn't have that flickering like you see.
Oh, well, that could be part of my problem, because I'm changing it every 10 milliseconds.
Yeah, so the part of the flicker is coming from the way the Arduino handles PWM.
Okay, I gotcha. That makes more sense.
But sometimes even if you don't, if you're not changing the value, you can still see a bit of a flicker.
Yeah, you still see it's flickering a little bit. Well, actually, the green, I can tell.
Looks like you've got a bad ground somewhere.
Yeah, I can hear it in my ears when it does it. So that's how I know the green came really bright right there. That's how
or when it's brightening up, it's leaking into something. One of either the blue or the red's ground.
It could be. All right, I'm going to turn the light back on, and then I'm going to show you the box that was the inspiration behind this. Hang on a second. I'll just turn the one light back on. Okay, so this is the box that was kind of the inspiration. So what this is you see it has DMX in on this side, and the address and some other features you can do right here. But on this side, it has 12 volts in, and then the 4 wires exactly as you'd use for these things, these strips. So you can use them for decorative lighting or stage lighting. That's how I'm kind of using them, is for background lighting, because the ones that I have behind me on the monitors flicker. And actually, I can probably, if I can find the control, it demonstrate the problem I'm trying to solve, which was kind of the inspiration behind this whole project. And let me turn them on back here. So if we come back up here and we look at my camera, can you tell they're flickering behind me? Not too bad, are they? Right now.
Well, I'm called in on Skype right now, and not really.
Yeah, not too bad right now. There you can tell.
There you go.
So.
Yeah, that's not so good.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get away from that. For some reason, this box does not flicker like that, and I'm trying to. I'm going to use the box to do it, but I don't know what they're doing differently than what I'm doing. So, hold on. So I like the lights behind the TVs, but they it's very hard to leave them back there when they're flickering that bad. The thing is, above me, if I turn these off, you can still see a little bit of color coming from the top, because I have LEDs up on top, but they're like professional LEDs, like for stage lighting, and they do not flicker like that. So that's kind of what the inspiration was behind this. If I could get this to work without flickering, I probably would do my own thing versus using something like this. Although these came from China, and they're only like $12, $14 a piece. They're pretty cheap for what they are. So, all right. I think it's about time to wrap us up. Unless you got something else, Bob.
That's it for. I don't have anything tonight. Although I did find the chip that I want to use for next week. So. Okay,
great. So you still unpacking?
Yeah. We moved 2 weeks ago, and I finally found what next week's demo.
I'm still finding things when I moved a year and a half ago, more than a year and a half ago now.
I'm not real sure what I'm going to do with the chips, but we'll figure out something.
Well, as far as you're talking about the 555s?
Yeah, the 555.
So, I mean, the other thing, as far as timers go, is we've had the question about timers in the Arduino. As far as timer interrupts go, that'd be another topic to cover as well.
Yeah, we could look at that in a little more detail.
Right. Yeah, because we went through it before, but we went through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, and we've always focused on timer 1 for using with LEDs. And
right, exactly.
We're looking for, relatively slow clock speeds. So,
right.
And we've never touched the other two.
Right. Yeah, we should probably talk about those too. We never have used them in anything before.
No, not directly. No, we haven't. Well, hopefully I'll have some 555, something interesting with those.
Okay, sounds good. So, if anybody has noticed, we were slow getting last week's show up, and that's because my outsourcer lives in the Philippines, and I cannot get hold of her. So just keep her in your thoughts, because I don't know where in the Philippines she lives, but they were hit pretty hard over there, and she still hasn't responded back to my email. So I don't know if she's in the really hard hit area or just out of power, or what the issue is. So I didn't jump on to do anything with it until later in the week last week, as well. It was so late getting up. And this week won't be the same way, because now I'm going to go ahead and do it tonight or tomorrow morning, and it'll be up a little quicker. I'll just do it myself versus waiting for her to do it, because I don't know what her status actually is.
Oh, that's sad to hear.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wish I knew something, but she's not answering back to me, so I can only assume that she has no power or worse. So, and I actually found out today where she lives in the Philippines, like what the name of the place is, but I haven't had a chance to look on the map yet. I'm going to do that tonight before I go to bed and see if she was in that area that was hit pretty hard or not.
Well, let's hope and pray she wasn't, and that she's okay.
Right. I have some other friends that live in the Philippines, and some other friends that have family in the Philippines, and they were in the north side, and they didn't really they had some wind damage and stuff, but they weren't, injured or anything. But I know the middle part of the Philippines was hit pretty hard. You're pretty much wiped out.
Yeah, I've got a coworker, same thing. They're in the Philippines, but they were far enough away. They really didn't have any damage.
Yeah. So, anyways, the show will be back out in normal time this week, just because I won't wait till I'll go ahead and do it myself. I normally don't do anything with it. I just pretty much start at the render, and then she handles everything. And I knew what happened in the Philippines, but I never followed up on it until I realized on Friday that it hadn't been released yet. So that's what the delay was, getting it out. All right, so just a reminder, the show is recorded live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. on the other side of the country, the Pacific side of the country. And we would love to have you in the chat room. Come in and chat with us. If you want to watch live, it's tech-zen.tv/live. It's where the chat room is at as well. You can come in and chat, and we'll answer your questions. We'd love to get feedback. Just send email to letsmakeit@tech-zen.tv. We will get back to you. It may take us a little while, but we will get back to you. And we'd love the feedback. And I mentioned earlier about the phone number. If this is something you'd like us to try, let us know. It's available to us anytime, so I can go ahead and activate it, and we can use it and give it a shot. And you would be live on the air. We talk to you via the phone, so that's definitely an option. Also, we have a voice Skype line. So if you're not in the U.S. and you want to call in using Skype, that's another option. It comes into the same system that we can use it for that as well. I think that is pretty much it. We'll see everybody next week.
Good night.
All right. Bye. For show notes for this show, contacts, and more, go to the techzen.tv website, where you can get show notes for all of our shows. We love to hear from our viewers and listeners. We have an email, a Twitter, and a phone number where you can contact us for each show. For details, visit the techzen.tv website and get the show details. You can also make a video and upload it somewhere like YouTube or Vimeo, and then just send us a link. You never know, you may see your video in a future show. You can get all of our shows delivered automatically to your favorite device by going to your favorite podcast website like iTunes and subscribing. Each of our shows also has a YouTube channel you can subscribe to get regular updates. Our shows are also available on most internet radio networks like Stitcher and TuneIn Radio. You can also watch and listen to our shows on Xbox, TiVo, and Roku. You can even find us on your Zune.